So Russell, you performed at C2C London on Friday. Last night you played in Glasgow. This evening the 3 Arena here in Dublin. Tell me about your C2C experience. What were your expectations heading in, and have they met them?
Oh yeah, this is my second time being here, and last time we were on the little acoustic stage where you get 5 minutes and that's all you get, and so to have a full set, to have a full arena crowd has been such a crazy experience. These are the biggest shows I've ever played over here.
Yeah. I mean, you played the CMA Songwriter Series on Thursday with Luke Dick, Caitlin Smith and Shy Carter. I know you've co-written every single song on both of your albums, but you're known for bringing that high energy to the stage. Mm-hmm. So tell me about do you like that, the opportunity to sort of strip things down acoustically and for people to really pay attention to the lyrics?
Yeah, absolutely. As a songwriter, that's kind of what gets not lost, but takes kind of a backseat to the overall performance, the lights, the sound, the energy that we put out. So stripping it all the way down to just acoustic is always great to stop and tell the story about where we got the idea, or my wife making me rewrite "Love You Like I Used To" or something like that. And so yeah, it's always great to just go back to the basics.
You've had 4 consecutive number ones, and your current single, Home Sweet, is climbing the American country charts as we speak. I know you co-wrote that one with Casey Brown and Charles Kelly from Lady A. I believe it was written back in 2018 when you were on tour with Lady A. Last November, you put out a newer version with Lady A on it as well. And the track itself sort of captures a 7-year period of your life in 3 minutes and 26 seconds.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about this track and why it's so special to you.
I mean, like you said, it captures so much life, and it's basically a chronological story of the day we got back from our honeymoon. That week I got dropped from my songwriting deal, and so my income completely stopped. And then, verse 2 is talking about picking up on the road a little more, and we're always traveling together. She drove the van, she sold the merch, she took the pictures, like we were always together on the road. And then verse 3 is eventually, we've starting to have a little bit of success, and we buy a house, and then we find out we're having a baby. And so it's like it's a very deep and personal kind of line by line how our lives have unfolded over the last few years.
Mm-hmm. You went to the CMA Awards last November with a fan of yours, Sarah from Utah. I love this story that you sort of stumbled upon her. You saw this video online of her making up a dance routine to Home Sweet, and in the video she's lying in a hospital bed. There'd be a lot of people in Ireland not aware of this story. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you sort of tell the Irish public the significance of yourself and Sarah and how your relationship has developed?
Yeah, so I saw this video, and it was this sweet girl in a hospital bed, and I was like, oh, that's sweet. And as I'm reading the caption, I found out that she had been in a car wreck and was now a double amputee, both of her legs. And so her life had just been completely turned upside down. But she had the biggest smile on her face. She was doing this dance to my song. And so I immediately sent it to my team, and I was like, what can we do, And aside from just sending like a T-shirt and a note, and, I wanted to do something more. And so we ended up partnering with Chevy and getting her a fully upfitted SUV that she can now drive with just her hands, because she can't hit the pedals and everything. So fully upgraded, she can roll her wheelchair in, hop in the seat, flip it around, drive it. It's such this awesome vehicle that Chevy just totally transformed her life with, because she's 17. Like, she had just started driving, and then that was immediately taken away from her. So we got to give that gift of driving. As a young teenager, we got to give that gift back to her. And then the CMAs came along, and they were so moved by this story that they integrated it into the award show. And so we got to surprise Sarah again by flying her to the CMAs and hanging out on the red carpet together and everything. And then I got to surprise her again that she was going to be with me on stage, to basically present herself and this whole entire story. And as soon as we came out on stage at the CMAs, was just like everyone stood to their feet. And I think that shook not just all of us there, but it shook like the CMA corporate. They were so moved by like the standing ovation that Sarah got. And it was such a special moment and like one of the greatest moments of my career.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you explained the story to Bobby Bones, and I stumbled upon the video on YouTube, and I was having a bad day myself, and just listening to you tell the story, I was like, Stuart, you have nothing to complain about, you know? So Casey Brown, he co-produced the first album with Mike Griffith and Jordan Reynolds, and Casey produced Southern Symphony with the great Dan Huff. Tell me about your working relationship with Casey, how it's developed, and Dan Huff in particular, considering the people he's worked with, what do you think he's been able to sort of capture and develop within your sound?
Great question. So Casey and I first started out just writing songs, and Yours was the second song we wrote. Blue Tacoma was like fourth or fifth song we wrote, and we just kept writing and writing. And so his demos were so good that it was just felt like a no-brainer. Like, yeah, well, Casey should produce the album then. It was already so far along that for album one, it was like, yeah, just kind of doctor these up a little bit and make them sound awesome, and he totally did that. And then for Southern Symphony, I feel like Dan Huff came in, and he was kind of the executive. I mean, he was more than just an executive producer. He was definitely very hands-on. But I'm a guitar guy, and so his guitar parts and his figuring out where the song needs to go, when, and, you know, trimming off a little fat here and there per se. Yeah, he just kind of stepped in and just took it to like just that extra 2 or 3, maybe 5% better of like sonic excellence, song excellence, and he just took it to the next level, just that little extra that we needed.
I remember, you know, chatting to Brad Paisley, and somebody who you think has nothing to learn. And I remember him telling me that working with Dan Huff, he made him realize that you can use the guitar as almost like another voice.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like that's a very insightful thing to say. I mean, you know, like Keith Urban worked a lot with Dan Huff, and I feel like his solos are very vocal and singable. And I mean, Brad Paisley is one of the most insane shredders. Like it's mind blowing. But yeah, like there's a melodic singability to what Dan Huff does.
So you're about to come to the end of a US tour, and then from next month you're going to be on the road with Tim McGraw. I mean, you talk about a priceless education watching that man perform every night, right?
Yeah. If there's one artist that I've listened to more hours of country music, it's Tim McGraw. This was always my bucket list tour. I always wanted to tour with Tim McGraw. I love that it's at the point where I made it to direct support for Tim McGraw. You know, it's a huge thing for me, and he's one of my absolute heroes, song-wise, performance-wise. I mean, the guy is a legend, a living legend.
You have toured over the past couple of years with some of the biggest and the best. We mentioned Lady A earlier, but like Thomas Rhett, Kane Brown, Billy Currington. Talk to me about those experiences and do you stand side stage and soak up what they're doing like a sponge, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, and I've always done that. It's rare that there's a night that I'm not out watching their performance and their set, and live performance is my number one. You know, a lot of people ask, you know, is it songwriting, is it studio, is it touring? And for me, it's touring. Like, I want to be the best entertainer in country music and all genre for the sake of it. Why not? So I'm always, I mean, every night we get off stage, we're like, all right, that was cool here, but what if we did this and flipped it around and did this here instead of there? And, you know, I'm always tossing in my head. So watching people's performances, watching the flow, feeling the emotional journey and the energy journey, the ups and the downs, and the, you know, just like, how does it flow? Why, as I told you earlier, I was like crying when Miranda played The House That Built Me. So I'm like, why did that hit me in such a way? Was it like building me up to that point, or was it just hit me out of the blue, or like what was it?
Or her delivery.
I mean, yeah, all of the above. And so yeah, it's rare that I'm not out front watching even the direct support or the I'm just always taking notes.
You know, from the days of, say, you know, playing in cafeterias and dorm room lobbies, and, you know, you've now 4 consecutive number ones, you've toured with the biggest and the best, you're playing this weekend in arenas in, you know, London, Glasgow, Dublin for tens of thousands of people. If you think back, and I'm not sure how much you dwell on this because I'm sure your life is just go, 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 what do you think were some of the sort of key moments in sort of building the blueprint and making things happen and get a bit of motivation in your career? And what advice would you give to aspiring singer-songwriters?
Oh, man. So this was, I guess 2015 is when we shot the music video for Yours. And that was really the turning point. I mean, I went the traditional route, you know, tried to get a record deal, went to all the majors and the indies and everything. Like, no one would give me a record deal. And so we were just forced to do it on our own. And my wife and I shot the music video for Yours and just put it up on YouTube. And really, it just kind of took off from there. You know, we went to satellite radio after that, kept building and kept building. Then we signed a record deal. That sounds like a quick timeline, but that was a 2-year period from when we uploaded it to even signing a deal. So, I mean, my advice really is, like, with social media these days and, you know, the TikTok and the YouTube and all that stuff, is I would say get original content out there as much as possible. Like, anybody can do cover songs, and if there's one cover in there, that's great, but like doing your artistry and sticking to your artistry, because people started coming to us, to my team, and like, hey, we want to do this the Russell Dickerson way. Like, how do we do that? And like, you know, we created this way, but we just like never gave up. There's no secret plan. It's really just tenacity, and you just keep going until it works. You
and your wife now are parents to a 1-year-old, a baby boy, Remington. Tell me about, you know, becoming a father. How's that changed things?
I mean, it definitely has. You know, the road life is different. We have our own tour bus now, and, you know, we don't get to intermingle as much, which I miss. You know, that's like all my best friends in the band bus, and so it's been an interesting thing. It's been an amazing thing especially on the road, but where you spend your energy changes. You know, I feel like, you know, during the day, you know, we're hanging out with Remington and everything, and then, you know, we do the show, and then it's like you can't really hang out as late anymore because you're gonna have to get up in the morning, and you know, it's like we still put on the same great show. It's just like, instead of hanging out until 3 in the morning, you got to go to bed and wake up early. So yeah, I mean, it's all learning. It's all changing. I mean, it changes every day, I feel like.
I'm sure that was probably maybe the one positive thing, as in regards to the pandemic, was you and your wife getting to spend that quality time with him at such a memorable, priceless age. You know?
Oh, it was beautiful. I like the time that we had was like the first few months was like rejuvenating, because we had just been going since 2012, just nonstop. It felt like the first few months I was like, I haven't had more than 2 weeks off in like 5 years, you know. And so that was rejuvenating. And then it was like, all right, I'm getting a little antsy now, but I mean, my wife was about to have a baby, and so then it was like full on parent mode from September till, I guess, March of 2021, and that's kind of when we started picking up on the road again.
What I really love to see is the fact that you're doing this so intelligently, as in you're playing C2C Dublin in March, and then in October you're coming back, you're touring England, Scotland, and you're coming to Northern Ireland. And I bring this up because, and I don't know if you know this, there's something like 90-something% of the tickets for this event are sold up north, and people come down.
Wow.
So a lot of artists naturally come back in October and play in Dublin, but you're actually going to the people.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the Empire on the 16th of October.
Yes, so we're coming back in October, and I mean, that's just honestly shout out to my team. I'm sure they see where the tickets come from and where they go, and yeah, I mean, I can't wait to come back. This is my first time headlining in the UK, and it's going to be crazy.
Wow, wow. Russell Dickerson, can't wait to see you hit that stage later, and I appreciate your time, man.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me.